I have the real privilege to host this conversation with a great lady who is with me today. This lady is named Tara Gandhi, and I would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to allow this conversation to happen. Tara, welcome. Welcome to this International Day. I would like to begin this talk with a definition, with your definition. What is your definition of nonviolence?
First of all, I want to thank you. And I would like to say that my full name is Tara Gandhi Bhattacharjee. And it's a rare occasion like this. I didn't want to miss on this because to be included and to talk about non-violence and to do some introspection also, it is very important for us. So very distinguished members of the United Nations and the ARCC, and you, Madam, Mrs. Kessous Clara Julia, UNESCO Ambassador, Sabine, President, ARRCC. Afternoon to all of you. It is about 4 p.m. I think you are close to lunch hour. We have beginning this session on non-violence, Day of Non-Violence. I think it's a great thing that the United Nations declared it as a day of non-violence, the birth anniversary of Gandhi. Actually, every day should be. Why should we remember non-violence only? And you have asked me about the definition of non-violence. I do feel that we have used that word very mechanically. Non-violence, Gandhi means non-violence, peace. But when it should come to define it, we don't know. It is not passive. It is not just sitting down and only meditation. It is also action. And it all starts in the mind. And I would say to think of the concept of mind without violence and the atmosphere without pollution should be our goal. And it all starts in the mind. Fear is negativity, which is violent in a way, that is also violence. Causing fear to others. Terror also of something horrible that is happening, pandemic of corona, and also warfare everywhere. When we are all being nourished on hate and fear, I think the mind without violence will lead to atmosphere without pollution. So the definition to have a mind free of violence.
A mind free of violence.
Which results in our thoughts, in our words, and in our constructive work and daily life also. And that is what Gandhi did, to quote Gandhi, that he studied philosophies from various parts of the world and took out the best and didn't put them on the shelf, but he infused them in the dailiness of his life. And to use this concept in the dailiness of our lives with very small beginnings, I think that would be the beginning of non-violence. How we are to each other, how we are to the animal world, how we are to the creation.
It all starts in our mind. Yes, this is what you're saying. And so what do you think is missing in this world to be a world of non-violence? What is missing for our mind not to be able to focus on this notion of non-violence?
That's a really difficult question. It sounds easy. It is difficult because it is not easy to keep your mind without negativity. And negativity is in a way definitely something that is violent. So I think this is where we are losing out. We expect someone like Gandhi, someone like Nelson Mandela, Dalai Lama, or many other great leaders all over the world who are known, and also many people who are not known, for them to carry it out. We don't realize that it starts with myself, which starts with the individual. As I heard some years ago, Papa Francesco in Rome, who said that remember that the creator, that the creatore, that the creator forgives everyone. But what is created, what is creato, never forgives anyone. So we have to be kind to each other, to every life. And he repeated that in 5 languages throughout the morning session. I think somewhere we are losing out. We depend on government, we depend on leaders to show it, but we don't realize that it starts with ourselves. And that probably is missing. And yet I would say that the world survives because there is also non-violence. If we are here today, it is because there is the spark of love in each one of us. And if the alternative to Gandhi, or what is Gandhi stand for, with compassion, love and kindness, there is a spark of that in each one of us. We have to realize that. And there is a search of Gandhi in the whole world today. Where is Gandhi? How was he? What did he think of? How did he become what he became? But then we have to listen to our conscience and we discover Gandhi. And I think, again, it depends on us, on the individual.
It depends on us. So, in fact, there is a way to look for peace of mind that is inner self. And once we get this peace, there is another way to connect with someone else, indeed. So the fact of connecting with someone else, but before finding this inner peace, will help us to project less anxiety or less difficulty to be in touch with the other. Is it the non-violence concept? Because non-violence doesn't mean peaceful relationship. You know, what is interesting is non-violence is recognizing the fact that there is violence. Yes. So non-violence is as if to force yourself to not go on a natural tendency to be first at peace. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And I've also asked that many times, what is the how do we describe peace without saying non-violence? Sort of, we are taking violence for granted, and we are cancelling that with non. Well, again, as I say, there is more non-violence in the society, human society, than there is violence. And it is not, to be non-violent is not being passive. It also goes ahead with constructive work. How we bring up our children, how we bring up what is our message to the youth. What do I do personally with myself, starting with myself? How I am to others. It also needs courage to stand for justice and to go against injustice. It is not passive watching of the world. It is active. It is being active against injustice.
So non-violence doesn't mean to kill the violence. It's on the contrary, working on finding a balance between a justified and measured violence and something that would be a free violence, a violence that should not be justified. Is it true?
To accept violence, it is conquering the negativity in us and constructive work towards the society, towards the human society. How we are to the environment, how we are to each other, how we are to every life. Well, I somewhere missed your point, but it is not recognizing violence, because there is also violence in us, but recognizing the stronger forces of love in us. So that would be, I think, this is it, it's constructive work. I mean, I can't sit and meditate all the time and think that I'm being non-violent. No, that is also being very self-centered and not enough. I mean, I am for myself how I start. And then I have to effect, and I have to be with all those who are thinking like me, if I'm thinking like that in a peaceful manner. And also it is going ahead to raise your voice against against injustice, against the last man, the last person of the society and the nature.
So yes. Mm-hmm. So non-violence go together with non-negativity. It's really fighting negativity. So yes. I would say the pulse, the willingness to death, for example. And so yes. This is what non-violence means. Okay. It's a way to do a negotiation between life and death. So it's really not being in the conflict, but trying to find a way to negotiate with the other for life, no matter what, choosing life.
I think you used a very good word, negotiation. I really, in this context, I'm very happy. I've learned something. I would also say that listening to one's conscience is important. And there we get the answer. Because conscience does not go wrong. Yes, this is what great leaders of nonviolence have done. They have listened to their own conscience. And when Gandhi started the whole this movement, which had an effect all over the world, and colonialism ended because of the non-violent method of Gandhi. For this, I would like to say that India got its political liberty on the 15th of August, 1947. But it was the political liberty. In a way, the foreign rule got its liberty also, liberty from their own injustice.
So it's like listening your inner voice, the little voice that is showing you the right direction. I would like to ask you another question regarding this International Day of Nonviolence. Is what advice can we give to young generations who want to have a better world and want to let their conscience talk? So what type of advice for a better nonviolent world?
You know, before I give advice to children and the youth, I think they are most important people. We have to reach out to them. I would like to advise people like me, myself also, and elders, what duty they have towards children and the youth. Because the youth everywhere I have seen are very positive. But children are being fed on hate, on sense of revenge. And this is not right. I mean, this advice should go to us, how we bring up the children and the youth. I can't give an advice to the children and the youth. I have to give an advice to myself. Because if I'm kind to a child, the child will never forget it. Most terrorists today have gone through brutal childhood and they have become terrorists. So let us remember that the way we treat the children and the youth, I mean, their future will depend on that. And if we give them the right examples, they will be the responsible citizens of the human society tomorrow. And we say, let us tolerate each other's religion. I mean, tolerance is a bad word here, wrong word. We have to respect each other's philosophy, each other's language. It is not tolerating. I don't want anyone to tolerate either my mother or my religion. I want respect. And I want to give that to everyone. So I think the right education to the children and the youth, you have asked a very good question. This is what I've been saying, and I'm almost becoming a missionary in that. The children and youth have to be given the right example, the shortest way for the sanity of the future of the human society.
So always leading by example. Is that what you remember from your grandfather? Did he give you advice, or was he so exemplary that you didn't need to have advice from him because you had his example?
he was never somebody who said, do this, this is right. Actually, I never heard the word non-violence from him. It was his action which spoke. I must say, when people ask me, you're talking about non-violence, I really never heard Gandhi speak of non-violence. Or his wife, my grandmother. I mean, I was very privileged, a divine privilege I got of being witness to time till the age of almost 14 when my grandfather Gandhi was assassinated. And I met so many leaders from great people from all over the world in our house. But I took it as a very ordinary day, and I was an adolescent girl. But now I'm recollecting everything. And I see that Gandhi never ever used the word non-violence. I never heard him say, be good. You know what he used to say? Improve your handwriting. Have you walked enough today? Have you done your exercise? Have you learned something new? And today he belongs to the entire world. Of course, South Africa is right in thinking that we gave him a lawyer and he gave us back a Mahatma. But what Gandhi got in India was the discovery of the spinning wheel, which he called the atom bomb of non-violence. And the hand spinning meant that economically we become strong. And we made our own cloth, which was a tradition in the country, as it was in the whole world. But for some reason or for the other, either industrial revolution or some other reason, somewhere it never stayed on the way it stayed on in India and in Pakistan and in Bangladesh. So that atom bomb of non-violence was the constructive work. And also Gandhi appealed to everyone to reach out to the last person of the society. And he was a great psychologist. And I call the whole movement non-violent. You know why? I can't go into details of history or something, because the British who ruled India and we departed as very good friends. And I remember even as a growing child, I mean, we thought of British people only as our friends. I never heard in our house from any of the leaders who were constant visitors like Pandit Nehru, Rajgopalachari. I mean, I never heard anything against the British. So we left as friends, and that is why I would call it non-violent, if that can happen. The rulers to leave and get our freedom. But as I repeat, that it was a political freedom, and we still have to do our non-violent struggle to fight our own injustice, which is more difficult than getting the foreign rule out.
So, do you think that in our society, the concept is coming sometimes before the actions? Maybe that what is missing also is that we have the concept of nonviolence, but maybe we are speaking about it more than we apply it. We are talking about it more than we are behaving it.
Well, I will not make a broad judgment about it, because I'm sure, as I said, many people are doing active work, constructive work, and also doing a lot of introspection and even on that, and acting according to their conscience. So I will not make a general statement, but I will say that in India and also all over the world, see how much this pandemic has, in a way brought us together, in a way frightened the whole world together. But in a way, just brought out the great warriors who have reached out millions of needy people. And with all of you, I pay homage to them. While my heart reaches out to all those who lost their families, who are the families of the victims. So I will not make a general statement in this way, but when you read the newspaper, when you see around, there is so much of fear, and I think a lack of trust in the next human being. That is, I think, very much so. The trust somewhere is not there. And as I said, I maintain there is more love than fear, than hate in the world. That is why we are existing. Yet, children and youth are being ruled on hate, nourished by hate, on hate. That is also true. So whatever I say can get contradicted. But your questions are very intelligent. I'm really not capable of, you have challenged me to do more introspection on this.
Thank you. Thank you for those words which are very important to the world.